there was usually 3 towns being run
Yeah.
every night.
3
by
towns.
WWE alone. And when you were Intercontinental Champion, and even after that, you were headlining usually the B shows.
B shows.
And what were the crowds on the shows? That
Sold
you were
out.
running?
We were sold out. Hogan might be in Boston Garden, 18,000 sold out. Macho Man and I, or Jake the Snake, if he was there. Now Jake was around for a little while, but then Jake would go on hiatus. But when Randy and I had our run together, we might be in L.A. There'd be 18,000 there. We'd go to Miami. It was sold out. Hogan would go to Seattle. It was sold out. Then we would go to San Antonio, sold out. Wherever Randy and I went with the card we had, it would be sold out. And then wherever Hogan went, it was sold out. So Vince had it made. He had two A shows going. Randy was extreme professional. We weren't close friends. I felt like we were friendly. It was a professional friendship. He didn't mix friends with business too much. He was a very hard guy to get to know. Once you did get to know him a little bit, he was a great, great, great guy. He was fantastic in the ring. Him and I, we clicked. Our gears clicked very well together. Did we have the easiest matches in the world? No, because a lot of times we didn't have good support on some of the cards we were on. A lot of times we were put on at different stages of the card where we should have been the main event or semi-main event, and we were like right after the popcorn match. But we overcame it because he was good enough to overcome it, and I was good enough to work with him to overcome it. We interjected Liz into our matches, which he never would do with anyone else. But he trusted me, and he trusted that everything's going to be okay. And we had a really good, solid lot of matches for almost a year. Sometimes the locker rooms in some of these small towns, it was hard for Randy to be that kind of, show that protectionism to her. And she was a gorgeous young lady. I mean, she was beautiful. And here's Randy with this wild hair and wild eyes and woo, yeah. How they ever got together, I do not know. But that's neither here nor there. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But some of these smaller locker rooms, there wasn't a place for her. And so eventually, as time went on and Randy got more power, he was able then to force upon Vince to move us out of a locker room and put us in the hallway, and he would take Liz and put her in the locker room and take the key and lock her. I didn't really like him locking her in the room, because if there was a fire or something, he'd go do interviews and she wasn't involved, or he'd go do something, a TV station outdoors or remote. She was locked in the building. I never thought that was the best way to do it. I mean, he could have left the key with her, but
Now, I'm not sure if you ever saw this, but the Ultimate Warrior put out a video shortly after Randy's death in response to Hogan coming out and saying that they had made up, when, from everyone I've talked to, including Randy's brother, they hadn't made up at the time of Randy's death. And the Warrior put out a video of Hulk Hogan on a European talk show saying that Randy had a cage built around the front door of his house that he would lock Elizabeth in, so he would leave her 6 TV dinners, I think, was Hogan's line. Is there any truth?
I've heard that nonsense. I mean, I heard those stories about cameras being around the house, but look, anybody that reached the level that Randy did probably would want cameras around their house if his wife is at home and he's out on the road. I mean, I would. I had a security system in my house when I was on the road to protect my wife and children.
Do you think that was more just the feud, the real life feud of Hogan and Savage, and Hogan thought, oh, this is going to be on
Probably.
TV?
Probably. I do believe that Liz, when she wanted to go somewhere, that Randy's mom and dad lived down the street and they would take her, because Randy didn't want her out by herself. She was a well-known character too. She was as popular as anybody. She was probably the most popular female since Fabulous Moolah.
Right.
I mean, there's been nobody else in the business that came close to Liz's popularity. So she couldn't go places like, I couldn't go places. I definitely didn't walk around the streets with my hair fixed and wearing a jumpsuit.
So back to Randy himself, as a wrestler, as far as wrestling ability, promo ability, drawing ability, do you think he's right up there as one of the greatest of all time?
Oh yes, no, I don't think anybody could touch some of those promos he did when he was, oh, space is the police, yeah, and he would twist and he'd turn and he would do his fingers, and he was very animated in his promos, and you know, I learned a lot by watching him and by watching Hogan and different guys. The more animated you are in your promo, the more people really listen, the more they start to watch and listen to you. And his in-ring stuff was, you know, Randy worked a fast pace. Randy worked one of these, knock me down. If he went down, he was right back up. If he went off the top rope, he came off the top, he hit you, boom, and he was right back into something else. He had that speed about him, and he had that athleticism that was a lot of guys at that time didn't have.
So a lot of people like to talk about Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair being the greatest of all time. Do you think Savage?
I think he deserves equal credit. Equal. I know this. I know that a lot of times Hogan got flack and still does because they say, well, he didn't do anything but do this, and all he did was drop the leg and hulk up. Well, he didn't have to do anything else. Could he have done other things? Sure. Go watch matches with him and Harley Race. Him and I had a couple of matches together, and it wasn't the regular Hulk Hogan match. We interjected Jimmy Hart. Jimmy jumped on his back, all sorts of stuff. We did everything. Randy could put a match together too that got the best out of Hulk. And Randy could get the best. And Randy would never he never really liked to do the same match in the town. If we were there last month, let's change it. Let's don't do it again. If we were on TV and they saw this, let's change it. He did not like that. Whereas a Ric Flair, I mean, even Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler would say, oh, come on, Rick, not that bump over the top. Oh, coach. Oh, no, he's going to get it slammed again. Rick, it never works. You know, it was like he never changed. It was always the same.